Hello everyone, welcome back to another Curiosity ASMR video. And if you are new, I wanted to welcome you and send many peace and blessings upon you always. So if you guys have noticed, the nature of my channel so far, it has been it fluctuates in personality. Meaning sometimes it's uplifting and silly, and others it's, I feel like it fluctuates, and I'm only going to get better with that, but it's not a negative. I see it as the personality fits the mood of the moment, whereas your character always remains the same. So my personality, or anyone for that matter, your personality is going to be tailored. You will tailor it awareingly or unawareingly within any situation, and I feel like what matters most is the character behind it, like your morals and your the things you hold dear to yourself. Often those are the things that matter most, that make up who you are. But your personality is allowed to fluctuate too. And I feel like a lot of times people kind of misconstrue the two and often shame people for having a fluctuation in personality. It's like, no, this is the way I'm showing up right now. And it fits the mood, it's appropriate. There's no harm done. And with that said, I thought we would tone things down a bit today. And more of like a more meditative, calming, calm-centered video. I know, like, for a lot of us, 2020 was either a positive change or a negative change, or somewhere in between there. And it really affected a lot of us. Like me personally, I can admit it affected me negatively. So much so to where I'm slowly, getting back into the groove of what makes me who I am and so on. And I thought that this, with that said, this would be a great reminder to not only myself, but to you all as well, that no matter what, life is going to throw some curveballs at you, and you have to be willing to recognize that and heal from it in order to keep growing forward. And with that said, this book called Healing Trauma, Healing Trauma, by Peter A. Levine, is a pioneering program for restoring the wisdom of your body. And what that ultimately means is it wants you to really take the time to look inward and see what it is about you that either how you respond in those fight or flight moments, or how you show up in the world after traumatic situations. It wants to be able to help you actually peer into those darker corners of your psyche and being able to release that energy. And I've actually read this once through, so you'll notice a little bit of like I had started highlighting some of the more key points I wanted to keep track of. Right now, I'm just going to read the introduction because I feel like the introduction was a key this book so far. Like, I read it. Like, I've read the whole thing. I read the acknowledgments and everything, and I feel like it was a really great reminder for a lot of us. And my apologies if you hear like rain sounds or anime in the background. I try to get the whole house as quiet as possible, but some people don't want to listen. So enjoy your anime sounds in the background as I read to you. If you bring forth, so I'm going to just jump right into it. It's just a couple of pages, but I feel like this is a great start to another level of what I would like my channel to mean for you guys, how I want to show up for you guys. Like, yes, of course, I'm goofy and I have so many entertaining video ideas, content ideas, but ultimately, everything can be fun and games, but you have to want to also solidify your footing in this world with meditation and I'm not to say everybody doesn't like meditation, and that's fine, or if everyone doesn't like prayer, that's fine, but to still have something that can calm you and center you in moments of haste and discord. I feel like, that's how I want to be shown for you guys. I want this to be a space where any of you who need support, love, healing, I want to be able to provide that for you in the best way I can through this channel. So, just diving right on in. If you bring forth that which is within you, then that which is within you will be your salvation. If you do not bring forth that which is within you, then that which is within you will destroy you. And this is from the Gnostic Gospels. Introduction. A tiger shows the way. For the last 35 years, I have been studying stress and trauma, as well as helping people heal from its effects. I am often asked how I can work with a subject as morbid as trauma without becoming burned out or depressed. My answer to this question is that witnessing the transformation that takes place in people when they master their traumas have proven to be a deeply sustaining and uplifting experience in my life. How can that be? Let me begin by telling you a little bit about myself. I began my career as a scientist in the radical environment of Berkeley, California, in the mid-1960s. While studying the effects of accumulated stress on the nervous system, I began to suspect that most organisms have an innate capacity to rebound from threatening and stressful events. At that point, I had no knowledge of physiological trauma. The term would not be defined in its modern form for another 15 years. As I was experimenting with different treatments, different stress reduction techniques that employed the new idea of a mind-body connection. Mind-body connection, mind-body connection. During this early research, a singular event occurred that would forever change the direction of my work. A psychiatrist who was familiar with my stress research asked me to see a patient of his who was suffering from various psychosomatic symptoms such as migraines, PMS, chronic pain, and fatigue, as well as to relax. Suddenly, without warning, she panicked, terrified with no notion of what to do. I saw in my mind's eye the fleeting image of a tiger poised for attack. Appeared dreamlike, and at that time I had no idea where it had come from. There's a tiger coming after you, Nancy. Nancy, Nancy. I blurted out without thinking. Run and escape to those rocks. Run for your life. To my amazement, Nancy's body began to shake and tremble. Her cheeks blushed red as she started to sweat profusely. After several minutes, she took a few spontaneous deep breaths. This response, which was scary for both of us, washed over her in waves for almost an hour. At the end, she experienced a profound calm, saying she felt held in warm, tingly waves. I have to pause really quick because it reminds me a lot of how I feel when I'm listening to ASMR. I'm like a huge fan of whispers. Like I love certain whispers and certain whisper techniques. And as I'm getting more and more in tune with my ASMR side, it is becoming more and more apparent how much I love them. And I just feel like that has to be how we all feel when we're experiencing ASMR. Just like that warm, tingly sensation that just makes you melt away all of your stress within that moment. If anyone else can agree, comment down below, melted with the 2 asterisks. Nancy reported to me that during this hour, she saw mental pictures of herself at age 4, being held down and given either anesthesia for a tonsillectomy. The fear of suffocation she experienced as a child, and that she remembered and revisited during her sessions with me, was terrifying. As a child, she had felt overwhelmed and helpless. After this one session with me, her whole host of debilitating symptoms improved dramatically, and she was able to get on with her life. That experience was with Nancy changed the course of my life. Ultimately, it opened new avenues in my ongoing research into the nature of stress and trauma, deepened my understanding of how trauma affects the body, and led to a whole new way of treating the debilitating after effects that can take so many negative and destructive forms. The effects of unresolved trauma can be devastating. It can affect our habits and outlook on life, leading to addictions and poor decision making. It can take a toll on our family life and interpersonal relationships. It can trigger real physical pain, symptoms, and disease. It can lead to a range of self-destructive behaviors, but trauma does not have to be a life sentence. As a result of my years of research and clinical work, I developed an approach using physical and mental exercises that can help cleanse the body, and the debilitating effects of trauma. Over the last 30 years, I have witnessed transformations in the lives of literally thousands of people as they healed from traumatic events program, you begin the healing process on day one, and as you continue using the program in the weeks and months to come, you should experience a gradual healing process that helps you free your body and mind from the debilitating long-term symptoms of trauma. Before we get to the details of how the program works, however, it will be helpful for you to know a little more about what trauma is and exactly how it gets into the body and causes such a wide variety of symptoms. In the brief overview presented in the opening chapters of this book, I give excuse the tummy sounds. I haven't eaten today, but it's all good. What you need to know in order to understand this program, how and why it works. Before beginning the exercises, it's important that you read all the preceding material in the book. If you're familiar with what trauma is and how it can affect you, the exercises are much more likely to have a powerful, positive effect on your unresolved trauma. I go into a great deal more detail about my research in the physiology of trauma in my best-selling book, Psychology of Trauma, in my best-selling book. I knew that didn't sound right. Waking the Tiger, Healing Trauma, North Atlantic Books, 1997. If you would like to read more about theory and personal case examples, if you want to know more about the science of why this program works, I refer you to that book. That book also features a number of inspiring stories about people who have experienced significant healing from their own past traumas. I'd like to reassure you, however, that you'll find right here in this book all that you will need to know to make the 12-phase healing trauma program work for you. There's one more thing I'd like to share with you before we begin. In virtually every spiritual tradition, suffering is seen as a doorway to awakening in the West. This connection can be seen in the biblical story of Job, as well as the dark night of the soul in medieval mysticism. The transformative power of suffering finds perhaps its clearest expression in the Four Noble Truths espoused by the Buddha. Though suffering and trauma are not identical, the Buddha's insight into the nature of suffering can provide a powerful mirror for examining the effects of trauma in your life. The Buddha's basic teaching offers guidance for healing our trauma and recovering a sense of wholeness. The first truth Buddha taught his disciples is that suffering is part of the human condition. If we simply try to avoid confronting painful experiences, there was no way to begin the healing process. is more closely a result of how we deal with the effect these past events have on us in the present. The third noble truth holds that suffering can be transformed and healed. For those of us who have been traumatized, this can be a mental leap of faith, but we can recover from trauma. Indeed, my experience assisting others to heal from trauma has shown me this recovery is in it. The fourth noble truth states that once you have identified the cause of your suffering, you must find an appropriate path. I believe that the exercises I've developed and that you will be learning in the 12-phase healing trauma program can serve as the path to lead you out of suffering and help you recapture the simple wonders of life. And that is the end of the introduction. And here begins chapter 1. And I believe I may make this book, it might appear a little bit more often on my channel. I feel like it'll be a great addition to what the work we will do here on this channel. So if y'all are interested, please comment down below and let me know if you are interested in having this pop up. I can actually read the whole book. I finished this book in like 3 days, so it's really short and to the point. So I can make it a debut thing on here. I know that my whispers kind of like go wah, 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 wah. What I mean by that is like in and out. So some whispers are a little bit louder, while some are a lot more softer and gentle. Definitely working on stabilizing those whispers for you guys. But this book was ultimately a really good book to read, and I cannot wait to share it with you guys until we finished it in the nearest futures. If there's anything specific you want to see from me, let me know. I'm always open to ideas. I also will be creating an Instagram so that you guys are able to DM me directly, and so that we're able to connect on there as a community. I would love to connect and talk with you guys to let's try to break down some of those walls and open up this new ambitious light of hope and serenity.